The Wodeyar dynasty founded a feudatory principality in 1399, which grew into the kingdom of Mysore. Initially, they ruled as vassals of the Vijayanagar Empire from 1399 to 1565. They then ruled as independent rulers from 1565 to 1761. The Wodeyar dynasty was a Hindu Yadunshi dynasty in Indian subcontinent that ruled the kingdom of Mysore from 1399 to 1950, with interruptions during its Muslim rule and in the late 1700s by the British rule. The kingdom was incorporated into the Dominion of India after the independence from British rule. Kanthirava Narsaraja Wodeyar I was the 12th Maharaja of Kingdom of Mysore from 1638 to 1659. He was also the first Wodeyar of Mysore to create the symbols associated with royalty, such as royal coats of arms, establishing mints and issuing coins named Kantiraya after him. These were to remain part of Mysore's current national money for well over centuries. Maharaja Chamarajendra Wodeyar X was the 23rd Maharaja of the Kingdom of Mysore between 1868 and 1894. Although his reign proved to be a brief one, he left an indelible mark on the kingdom. He instituted a representative assembly of Mysore Kingdom in 1881. This was the first modern democratic legislative institution of its kind in princely India. He sponsored the famous journey of Swami Vivekananda to Chicago in 1893. Nalvadi Krishnaraja Wodeyar IV was the 24th Maharaja of Kingdom of Mysore from 4th June 1884 to 3rd August 1940. At the end of his death, he was one of the wealthiest men. He was a philosopher king. He has been compared to Emperor Ashoka. Mahatma Gandhi called him Rajarshi or saintly king, and his kingdom was described by his followers as Ramarajya, an ideal kingdom akin to the rule of Lord Rama. Acknowledge his noble and effective kingship. Maharaja Jai Chamarajendra Wodeyar. He was the 25th Maharaja of the Kingdom of Mysore from 1940 to 1971 until the monarchy was abolished in 1950. He was noted philosopher, musicologist, political thinker, and philanthropist. He was the first ruler to accede to merge his kingdom with the newly formed Indian Union after the Indian independence in 1947. Mysore coins. Mysore coins began to date in the Common Era starting in 1833. The last Mysore coins were issued in 1843, after which British coins were introduced. Royal emblem Gandaberunda. In the history of Mysore Kingdom, we can find a special place for Gandaberunda, which is the royal insignia of Mysore dynasty. Gandaberunda is an imaginary bird and a regal mythical creature in Hindu mythology. This two-headed bird is said to possess magical strength. Sir M. Visvesvaraya, popularly known as Sir M.V., was an Indian civil engineer and statesman and in the 19th Diwan of Mysore, who served from 1912 to 1919. He received India's highest honor, Bharata Ratna, in 1955. He was knighted as a Knight Commander of the British India Empire by King George V for his contributions to public good. 15th September is celebrated as Engineers Day in India, Sri Lanka, and Tanzania in his memory. Curse on Wodeyars. A curse was believed to be cast on the Wodeyars in 1612 by Alamelamma, wife of King Tirumala Raju, who ruled the Vijayanagar Empire. It is believed that when her jewels were being taken under the orders of Wodeyar ruler, she ran over to a cliff overlooking to the river Kaveri and cursed before jumping to death. Talakadu marulagali, malangi maduvagali, Mysuru arasalige makkalagadirali. May Talkadu become a barren land, Malangi turn into a whirlpool, and may Mysore kings never beget children. 400 years since, the Wodeyar dynasty never had any children for alternate generations. Hence, the adopted child becomes the king. Even till date, most part of the Talkadu lie under sand, and Malangi village in present Mysore district is slowly eroding due to the whirlpools. Maharaja Krishnaraja Wodeyar III, Sriman Rajadi Raja, Raja Parameshwara, Praudha Pratapa, Apratima, Veera Narapati, Biruda, Antembara, Ganda Maharaja Sir, is also known as Mummadi Krishnaraja Wodeyar, was 22nd Maharaja. He ruled for 70 years from 30th June 1799 to 27th March 1868. He was responsible for the cultural growth of the kingdom. Chamundi Hill Temple. The temple has history dating back to 12th century. King Krishnaraja Wodeyar III built the temple tower, Gopura, and presented the Nakshatra Malika, jewel with Sanskrit verses inscribed on it. The temple was named after Chamundeshwari or Durga, a fierce form of Shakti held in reverence to for centuries by Mysore Maharaja. Forts of Wodeyars. Maharaja Palace of Mysuru, also known as the Ambavilas Palace. This palace was built in Indo-Saracenic style by Krishnaraja Wodeyar IV, designed by the English architect Henry Irwin. Bangalore Palace was built on the model of Windsor Castle in 1884. It was bought by Chamaraja Wodeyar X. Lalit Mahal Palace was built in 1921 by E.W. Fritzley under the commission of Maharaja Krishnaraja Wodeyar IV. Jagan Mohan Palace was commissioned in 1861 by Maharaja Krishnaraja Wodeyar III. It was completed in 1910 during the rule of Krishnaraja Wodeyar IV. Mysuru Dasara. The city of Mysuru has a long tradition of celebration the Dasara festival with grandeur and pomp to mark the festival. The Dasara festival in Mysuru completed with 400th anniversary, while evidence suggests that the festivities were observed since Vijayanagara reign. The Wodeyars of Mysuru formed a kingdom in southern parts of the Vijayanagara Empire and started celebrating festival tradition from 1578 AD by Raja Wodeyar I at Srirangapatna. Raja Ravi Varma was an Indian painter and artist considered as one of the greatest painters in the history of Indian art. Raja Ravi Varma is known for his amazing paintings, which revolve around the Puranas and the great Indian epics. Ravi Varma is one of the few painters who managed to accomplish a beautiful union of Indian tradition with the technologies of European academic art. His Highness Chamaraja Wodeyar of Mysuru invited him and his brother to Mysore in 1885, and Ravi Varma painted the lifelike portraits of family members. Many of his paintings are now exhibited in Jagan Mohan Palace Art Gallery. Thank you.